The Film Review Open Challenge has been going for 2 years now, and in that time 25 movies have been randomly selected for a full review. For those who don't know, the Film Review Open Challenge's rules are as follows. Everybody gets one selection, any film can be nominated as long as I can legally watch it at home, and I cannot refuse an entry unless it's already been selected. This means that some people have chosen their favourite film and some pick horrible ones just to be dickish. As 25 is sort of a round number and 2020 put the kibosh on my normal year-end review, I thought it would be a good idea to list the 25 films I've randomly reviewed thus far from the worst to the best and a short summary as to what I thought. You can make your selection if you haven't already, either in the comments section or on my social media pages. Links can be found in the description of this video. Let's crack on with then number 25, The Draftsman's Contract. For those of you who've seen every one of my Film Review Open Challenge videos, firstly, thank you, I hope I cured your insomnia, and secondly, this entry will be no surprise to you. A period piece that describes itself as an erotic murder mystery that only barely had the murder, yet alone any other aspect. I was bored, and boring films are the worst to review. Number 24, Clueless. Like the main character, this film is vapid, shallow and uninteresting. It wasn't boring, just bad, and I don't even think this was a case of aging badly. I don't think this would have been good the first time around. Barely a plot, an abrupt ending, and not one character worth investing in. Number 23, The Goonies. Hey you guys! Before you unsubscribe, please hear me out. This was my first time watching The Goonies, and so without nostalgia goggles, all I see is a bunch of annoying kids who say guys way too much on a treasure trail and some really incompetent villains trying to stop them. I wanted to like this one, but I have to be true to my opinion. Number 22, Mother. This one shocked me towards the end, and there aren't many reviews where I've had to put a disclaimer on. I got the point of the view at said shocking moment, but until then I was lost, confused and frankly just put off. The trailer promised something that this film wasn't, and although the religious allegory makes sense in the end, it's not as clever as it thinks it is. A bit like me actually. Number 21, Nocturnal Animals. Imagine, if you will, that something builds you up and intrigues you for nearly 2 hours and then leaves you unsatisfied. No, it's not my dating history, that's Nocturnal Animals, which is half a brutal story with great acting and half Amy Adams not emoting due to being depressed and reading a novel by her ex. I hate the anticlimactic ending. I honestly thought that I'd missed it somehow. Number 20, Tully. Tully isn't bad per se, it's just a really disappointing ending once again. I got some feedback that maybe I was a little bit too harsh on Drew in the review, so I won't bring up that absolute waste of... But with what the film set out to do and implied from the trailer compared to how it went down, Tully disappointed. Number 19, The Notebook. This was chosen because it's a really sad film and the person who chose it loves it. Yet in what's becoming a theme now, the ending spoils the whole thing. I quite like the story set in the past, but the modern day setting peaks too soon and sets up a cliche and cheap ending. A real shame, this one. Number 18, Weird Science. This film has aged badly, but it's kind of a fun age badly. Usually I ask questions on how things work, but I threw all of those out quickly because Weird Science is weird and leans into it. It gets some points for that, but overall it's just not my thing really. If you grew up in the 1980s or are a big fan of that period, then you may get a kick out of it, but I was born in 1986. I have little nostalgia for that period. Number 17, Mamma Mia. You never forget your first, especially when you end up singing on the video. Yeah, that really did happen. Mamma Mia gave me a unique insight. I hate one of the lead protagonists. Otherwise it's ABBA music on a threadbare story. Fine enough, but I'm not in a hurry to see it again. Number 16, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Jim Carrey as the Grinch is brilliant, and it's a fairly good retelling of the Dr. Seuss story, albeit padded out to make the Grinch more human and Whoville to be more the problem. I don't hate it, and Carrey's performance is show-stealing, and the look is very Tim Burton even if it has nothing to do with the film. It's fine, nothing more. Number 15, Taxi Driver. Another film with an ending I didn't like much, but unlike others I don't think it spoils the rest of the movie. Robert De Niro is the clear star and the parallels to 2019's Joker stand out to me. I just don't get as invested in the main character as much as I do in Joker, and certain elements don't quite sit well with me. Number 14, Jaws. The only thing holding back Jaws are the effects, really. The story is good, albeit some fleshing out could have been done, and the acting is fine enough. I realise that a remake wouldn't work nowadays and the effects were a product of the time, but there is a lot of good in Jaws despite this. Oh, and I'm sorry about the baby shark bit. Sort of. Number 13, Source Code. What is it with film selections and its endings? Like Taxi Driver, the very end of this film annoys me and I will not argue with you again about it, Lee. To me, its explanations about how source code works don't quite tally up with the ending, but until then, it's a tense action thriller that's well acted and has some really great moments. Number 12, Grease. I enjoyed Grease despite not being a fan of musicals. That's how good it is. And at the time, that was my favourite musical movie. Is it cheesy? Yeah. Is that the point? Of course it is. Grease is a good time, but again, not suitable for younger ears at points, and no, I won't be singing any of the songs and you can't make me. Number 11, Bridesmaids. I was dreading this one as I got some rough night vibes, but aside from the diarrhea scene, this is a solid rom-com featuring a predominantly all-female lead cast. Between the great chemistry, solid writing and a nice romantic subplot, Bridesmaids is one I can recommend, and yet, not quite enough for the top 10. Number 10, The Green Mile. A classic of modern cinema, I was told. Must see, I was told. I'm afraid I can't quite agree with that. I think the film was overhyped to me, but I enjoyed it. I can't take away from the outstanding performances, story and raw emotion that Green Mile displays. There's not much Tom Hanks can do wrong, honestly, and this certainly isn't it. Number 9, Pulp Fiction. A swear jar was needed to review it, and though Pulp Fiction is a collection of stories told out of order, it's really good. The only Quentin Tarantino film I've seen that I like, everything comes together really well, and looking at it objectively, what a cast! I enjoyed reviewing this one as much as I did watching it. Number 8, Rock of Ages. Grease number 12, Rock of Ages number 8? Are you mad, Brad? Well, maybe, but I also much prefer rock music as a genre. I was captivated by Tom Cruise's performance and yeah, maybe a little biased as the band was called Arsenal. In all seriousness though, this is now my favourite musical movie and is the one to beat if another one comes up in the future. Number 7, Snatch. There's a lot to love about this movie, from its unorthodox direction, clever intertwining story and black comedy. It's not aged well, as somebody in the comment section said, but it's still a good time and the soundtrack features the only non-vocal Oasis song, so that's a big positive right there. Number 6, Mean Girls. I loved the cameo at the beginning of this review, and despite me seeing it before, I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought. Rachel McAdams is quickly becoming one of my favourite actresses, and Mean Girls tells a good story concisely with not an ounce of extra fat, not unlike Regina when she was given those weight gain bars. Number 5, The Departed. Powerhouse performances from 3 great actors, a gripping story with twists and turns throughout, and so many Boston accents. Violent without being excessive, complicated without being alienating, The Departed hits everything hard and well, but it falls just a little bit short to number 4, Legend, which is set in London, based on real people, and does everything The Departed does with one actor in Tom Hardy playing 2 people very differently. I enjoyed Legend a lot more than I thought I would, and fun fact, this was the first review to feature my twin brother Bradley Kay. Probably the last one too. Number 3, Moana. I was harsh the first time I saw Moana, but the more I watch it, and I do frequently thanks to my kids, the more I appreciate it. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is excellent, the story works for a Disney Pixar film, and although I may have unfavourably compared it to Frozen years ago, I now think this eclipses Elsa and Anna's debut. Number 2, Titanic. This film has aged well. I've gone from avoiding it at all costs as a teenager to loving every minute of it as an adult. The effects from 1997 hold up today, and you can tell this was a massive success because it does everything right, from great acting, just the right amount of flitting between the past and present, as well as being over 3 hours long but not wasting a single minute of it. And number 1, Avengers Infinity War. To date, my longest film review open challenge video, and that's simply because I love this film. my favourite MCU entry to date, me and Chris Murphy would have kept talking about this film for a lot longer. Paying off nearly 10 years of build-up well and setting up a sequel even better, Infinity War may not have been part 1 in name, but it was an excellent way to begin the end of the Infinity Saga. And so that sees the end of the first 25 Film Review Open Challenge selections. As for the next 25, who knows? Could it be something brilliant? Something to make me think, or will it be something I have absolutely no intention of seeing? Stay subscribed for more and don't forget to follow me on my social media pages. For now though, thank you very much for watching.